Hi everyone, this is Attorney Lillian and I am here today with your Tuesday tip. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the top three, okay? Top three things that you really need to have for you to be successful in your green card application. Okay? It doesn't matter if your green card is through marriage. It doesn't matter if it's through your child. It does not matter if it's through the Liberian Green Card Act. All these three things apply no matter what type of situation you have. Okay? So the second step, okay, the second key to a successful green card application is have your documentation in order. What does this even mean? Having your documentation in order means that you know what the required documents are in your case, and you have all those documentations ready to go. Hi, Amara, welcome. If you are just joining, you can ask me questions in the comments as I'm going along. I will stop and answer your questions, so don't feel that you can't ask me questions. And we are talking about the top three keys to a successful green card application, okay? So have your documentation in order. I mean that literally and figuratively, okay? You need to know what documentations you need, and you need to, if they're not in English, right? If the documentation that you have is not in English, it needs to be translated into English. You need to make sure that the documentation you have is the right documentation. So for example, if you are from Nigeria and you were born in like the 70s, you probably got a birth certificate from the hospital. That's what you have. It worked in the past, it's fine. However, now when you want to file for a green card application or anything like that with USCIS or US immigration in general, the birth certificate that you need is no longer the one from the hospital. They want one from the national population. So it's not only having a birth certificate, it's making sure that it's issued by the right government agency. So again, having your documentation, but also making sure you have the right documentation is really the key here. Okay, that's why I say have your documentation in order, because if you have the divorce, that's another one. That's a huge deal. If you got a divorce in a foreign country, so this is different state by state. However, in Massachusetts, let's say you live in Massachusetts, you went back to Nigeria, you got a divorce, you need to make sure that the person you're divorcing lives in Nigeria. If they do not live in Nigeria, the divorce is not valid in Massachusetts. Okay, so your divorce, wherever it takes place, needs to be valid where you live. So if you are in a state that it doesn't matter if you and your spouse live in the place where you're getting a divorce, then it's perfectly fine. You can go ahead and get divorced, but in a state like Massachusetts that requires that at least one of you live in the place where you're getting a divorce, you need to make sure that you're following the right procedure in getting that divorce. And I've seen this happen countless times, where someone will go and get a divorce because they figured, oh yeah, we live in the US, but we got married in Nigeria, so let's go back to Nigeria and get the divorce. Well, this becomes an issue because if USCIS does not accept your divorce, that means that your marriage is not valid. So you need to then either get a divorce or get a court in your state to say that your previous divorce is valid right? And therefore your current marriage is valid. It's a whole thing, and you do not want to find it out after you already spent the money to file for a green card application, because those things are not cheap. Okay, those things are not cheap, and you do not want to be in the middle of an interview and that comes up. Now the officer is going to give you 30 days to provide a divorce decree that actually is valid. Divorces in Massachusetts, the shortest divorce you can get in Massachusetts is about 4 months, 5 months. So giving you 30 days to get the divorce decree that's valid is not enough time. So that's why you really want to know these things ahead of time, so that once you file, you know you have what you are required to have. You have the documentations. They're issued by the right authority. They are, issued by the right country, right? The right jurisdiction. They are in English. So anything that's not in English, again, needs to be translated into English. So you need to put the original, in the original language, a copy of the original language and a copy of the English translation. And it needs to be a certified translation, because they need to make sure that whoever's certifying that they translated this actually speaks both languages and it's not just making it up. Okay, so that's really, when it comes to documentation, that's the key there. It's not just knowing what the required documents are, but knowing what documents are required from your country. So each country is different. Marriage certificates, birth certificates are issued by different government agencies in each country. So you really need to know, what country you're from, what the required documents are. If there's actual, for some countries, there's stamps that need to be on the, let's say, the marriage certificate. There's a stamp that needs to be on it. The stamp needs to be blue, right? I'm thinking of Haiti. There's a stamp on it. It has to be blue, and it has to be there's so many different things that needs to be in there. So you really want to make sure that you have that in place before you even file anything, because you don't want to come back and have to go back to try to get to get a new birth certificate so that you can file. If you're getting stuff from outside of the US, you don't know how long it's going to take. So you really want to do that ahead of time to give yourself the best possible outcome. Okay. So we have a question from Kimberlyn. Can you file for your family while your citizenship is in process? So this is a great question. The answer to this is yes. So if you have a green card and you're trying to file for your spouse or your unmarried child, yes, you can definitely file for them while your citizenship is in process. The only thing is, if the application you file for them is still in progress, while when you become a citizen, you can just update USCIS that, hey, now I'm a citizen, they're now an immediate relative, and please process their case based on my new status. Okay, but yes, definitely, if it's a spouse or children, unmarried children, you can definitely file for them while you're waiting for your citizenship to be approved. And then once that's approved, their status changes to now spouse or children of a U.S. citizen. And depending on how quickly visas are being issued or the availability of visas, that may even speed up their case once you become a citizen. So it really depends on who you're going to file for. As long as it's someone that you can file for as a green card holder, you're fine. Okay. So again, documentation is what we're talking about right now. You just need to make sure that your documentation is in order when you start the process. Okay, you don't want to be halfway through the process, or worse, at your interview and find out that you need documentation that you do not have, especially when those documentations are required. Okay, so just be aware of that. So that is your tip for today. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. And if you like this video, go ahead and share it. If you know someone who needs to hear this, go ahead and share the video with them. If you like what I'm talking about, like the video. And if you're watching in a place that you can subscribe and you do not want to miss any of my uploads, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And I am Lilian Chukura. I am the lawyer and owner of Lillylegal, where we help our clients get status for themselves and for their family using the U.S. immigration law system. Thank you. Bye.